The 1987 Philippine Constitution. College and Civil Service Exam Reviewer. Article 6. Legislative Department. Where is the legislative power vested? It is vested in the Congress, consisting of the Senate, headed by the Senate President, and the House of Representatives, headed by the Speaker of the House. Legislative power is also vested in the people through the powers of initiative and referendum. Election of senators. How many? 24 senators. Who elects? All qualified voters. Election day. Second Monday of May. Term of office. 6 years, starting from June 30, following their election. Maximum number of terms. Up to 2 consecutive terms. Qualifications of senators. He or she must be a natural-born Philippine citizen, at least 35 years of age, able to read and write, a registered voter, and a resident of the Philippines for not less than 2 years immediately preceding the election. Election of representatives. How many? Not more than 250 representatives unless otherwise fixed by law. Who elects? All qualified voters in their legislative districts for local representatives, or all voters for party lists. Election day. Second Monday of May. Term of office. 3 years, starting from June 30, following their election. Maximum number of terms. Up to 3 consecutive terms. Qualifications of representatives. He or she must be a natural-born Philippine citizen, at least 25 years of age, able to read and write, a registered voter in the district in which she shall be elected, except for party list representatives, and a resident of the district in which he shall be elected for not less than 1 year immediately preceding the election, except for party list representatives. Party list representatives shall constitute 20% of the total number of representatives in the House of Representatives. They may represent the labor, peasant, urban poor, indigenous cultural communities, women, youth, and such other sectors provided by law, except the religious sector. What is the privilege from arrest enjoyed by senators and representatives? They shall be privileged from arrest in all offenses punishable by not more than 6 years of imprisonment and while Congress is in session. What is the privileged speech immunity enjoyed by senators and representatives? They shall not be questioned nor be held liable in any other place for any speech or debate in Congress or in any committee thereof. Requirements for senators and representatives. to make a full disclosure of their financial and business interests, to notify of a potential conflict of interest that may arise from filing of a proposed legislation in which they are authors. Prohibitions upon senators and representatives. A senator or representative cannot hold any other office or employment in the government, including in government-owned and controlled corporations. He or she cannot be appointed to any office which have been created, or the emoluments thereof were increased, during the term for which he or she was elected. He or she cannot personally appear as counsel before any court of justice, or before the electoral tribunals, or quasi-judicial and other administrative bodies. Prohibitions upon senators and representatives. A senator or representative cannot, directly or indirectly, be interested financially in any contract, franchise, or special privilege granted by the government, including GOCCs. He or she cannot intervene in any matter before any office of the government for his pecuniary benefit, or where he may be called to act on account of his office. How do each House of Congress elect its leaders? The Senate elects the Senate President by a majority vote of its members. The House of Representatives elects a Speaker by a majority votes of its members. Each House shall choose other officers as it may deem necessary. General Rules of Proceedings. A regular session is convened every fourth Monday of July unless a different date is fixed by law. It shall continue to be in session for such number of days it may determine until 30 days before the opening of the next regular session, exclusive of Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays. A special session may be called by the President anytime. A majority of each House shall constitute a quorum to do business. Each House shall keep a journal and record of its proceedings. Neither House, during the sessions of the Congress, shall, without the consent of the other House, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to a place other than that in which the two Houses shall be sitting. Each House may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, or suspend or expel a member upon the concurrence of 2/3 of its members. The suspension shall not exceed 60 days. The Senate and House Electoral Tribunals. Each tribunal shall be the sole judge of all contests relating to the election, returns, and qualifications of their respective members. Each tribunal shall be composed of 9 members, consisting of 3 justices of the Supreme Court, to be designated by the Chief Justice, and 6 members of the Senate or the House of Representatives, chosen based on proportional representation. The chairman shall be the senior justice. The Commission and Appointments. It shall be composed of the Senate President, 12 senators, and 12 members of the House of Representatives elected on the basis of proportional representation. The ex officio chairman will be the Senate President, who shall not vote except in case of a tie. Congressional powers. Congress shall have the power to pass bills into law. It has the sole power to declare the existence of a state of war through a vote of 2/3 of both houses in joint session assembled, to authorize the President to exercise powers necessary and proper to carry out a declared national policy in times of war or other national emergency for a limited period and subject to restrictions Congress may prescribe, to conduct inquiries in aid of legislation. When may department heads appear before Congress? They may appear upon their own initiative, with the consent of the President, or upon the request of either House, regarding any matter pertaining to their departments. When the security of the state or the public interest so requires, and the President so states in writing, the appearance shall be conducted in executive session. Passage of a bill into law. Except for certain bills, each bill may originate either from the House of Representatives or from the Senate. The bill is considered passed after 3 readings wherein it obtains a majority vote on the 3rd reading. It is then transmitted to the other House of Congress, where it must similarly undergo 3 readings and obtain a majority vote on the 3rd reading. A harmonized version of the bill is then transmitted to the President for his action. The President may either approve the bill, fail to act on it, or veto it. If the President approves the bill becomes law. If the President does not act upon the bill after 30 days from transmittal, the bill lapses into law. If the President vetoes the bill is returned to the originating House of Congress for reconsideration. If it is passed by 2/3 vote, the bill is transmitted to the other House of Congress, and if it is passed by 2/3 vote in that House, the bill becomes law. Passage of a bill into law. Each bill must embrace only one subject. It requires 3 readings on separate days, and printed copies in its final form must have been distributed to the members 3 days before its passage, except when the President certifies to the necessity of its immediate enactment to meet a public calamity or emergency. No amendment is allowed on the last reading of the bill. A vote is taken immediately after the 3rd reading and entered in the journal. All bills on appropriation, revenue, tariff, increasing public debt, bills of local application, and private bills shall originate exclusively in the House of Representatives, but Senate may propose or concur with amendments. Congress may not increase the appropriations recommended by the President for the operation of the government, as specified in the budget. Provisions or enactments in an appropriations bill must specifically relate to some particular appropriation in the bill. It must specify the purpose. It must be supported by funds actually available or to be raised by a proposed revenue measure. Discretionary funds for particular officials shall be disbursed only for public purposes. No transfer of appropriations is allowed, but the President, Senate President, Speaker of the House, Chief Justice, and heads of constitutional commissions may, by law, augment any item in the General Appropriations Law for their respective offices from savings in other items of their respective appropriations. If Congress fails to pass the General Appropriations Bill for the ensuing fiscal year, the General Appropriations Law for the preceding fiscal year shall be deemed reenacted until a new bill is passed by Congress. The President has the power to veto any particular item in an appropriation, revenue, or tariff bill, but the veto shall not affect the item to which he does not object. Taxation. It shall be uniform and equitable. Its system shall be progressive. Congress may enact a law to authorize the President to fix within specified limits and subject to restrictions imposed by Congress, tariff rates, import and export quotas, tonnage and warfare dues, and other duties or imposts. Charitable institutions, churches and parsonages, convents, mosques, non-profit cemeteries, and all lands, buildings, and improvements actually, directly, and exclusively used for religious, charitable, or educational purposes shall be exempt from taxation. Laws granting tax exemptions may be passed only with the concurrence of a majority of all the members of Congress. Disbursement of funds from the Treasury. It must be made pursuant to an appropriations made by law. No public money shall be appropriated, applied, paid, or employed, directly or indirectly, for the use, benefit, or support of any sect, church, denomination, sectarian institution, system of religion, or priest, minister, religious teacher, or dignitary, except when such priest, minister, religious teacher, or dignitary is assigned to the armed forces, penal institution, government orphanage, or leprosarium. All money or tax levied for a special purpose shall be treated as a special fund and paid out for such purpose only. If the purpose of the special fund has been fulfilled or abandoned, the balance shall be transferred to the general funds of the government. Congress is mandated to pass a system of initiative and referendum. An initiative allows people to directly propose and act laws. A referendum allows people to approve or reject any law passed by Congress or by a local legislative body. An initiative or referendum is made through a registered petition signed by at least 10% of the total number of voters, wherein every legislative district must be represented by at least 3% of its registered voters. Other limits on the lawmaking powers of Congress. No laws shall be passed increasing the appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, without its advice and concurrence. No law shall be passed granting a title of royalty or nobility. Please like and subscribe for more videos.